All right, chat, it's here. It's time. Are you ready for the very first game of day 3 of Prevent-A-Thon 6? It is We Play Double Bronze by SM MIDI. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, yes, I'm SM MIDI. This is We Play Double Bronze. We Play was on Prevent-A-Thon previously, on Prevent-A-Thon 2. So the first time I ran Platinum Medals, and that category is a little bit different, where we are playing in one-player mode, getting all the medals. Here, the challenge, this is a bit of a new one. It's very niche category extension that came up recently. What if we challenged ourselves to play in two-player mode with 2 controllers and get the normal bronze medal requirements? Some of them are really easy, and some of them are charge. So we are gonna try to get all 9 of these. It's a very quick run, and there's a lot to explain, and it's 20 minutes, and Platinum Medals was 90 minutes. So there's a lot to fit in here, but we are gonna get started on billiards. Time does not start here. We'll start on start over just to get a second of time save. Yeah, it helps a little bit. So I will give a countdown in 3, 2, 1, go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have both controllers ready and quickly pick up the one that I need, because right at the beginning is a new feature where you just randomly decide who goes first. And normally here we would need 15 points, which is really simple. Nice little double setup here. Didn't get both balls in now, unfortunately. But normally this would be really simple. You need to beat the full game in 22 shots plus fouls, which is really easy. So easy that you can just take fouls and be done with it. Here, the scoring works completely differently, but you can still get 15 with each. Now, the way to do that is we have 45 points to work with. Each ball has its own numerical value based on the number on the ball. Unfortunately, that means we have to do maths. Maths in the speedrun, unfortunate. Not only that, I have just lost 3 points and got a foul, which means I score 0 and I lose 3 points at the end of the game. So I'm going to have to remember that player 1 is technically now on -3. So just to play safe, I'm going to take a win with that one, and I'm just going to foul. I'm not going to pocket anything there. That's going to give me 15 total with player 2. And then hopefully we can, with a bit of good spin control here, hopefully we can sweep the rest of these. So this game doesn't really teach you about the spin control here, but yeah, there's a lot going on. Thankfully, this is much nicer than in Platinum Medals where you're relying on getting a really good break shot. And here we are going to show 15 points, hopefully. There we go. And we can quit the game. So because there are no medals, we can just instantly quit. I will explain why later. But here, this is very complicated. I'm going to rest the player 2 remote down. We need 170 points with each controller on this one. We're going to get a start boost there, and then after a couple of seconds, I am going to change the idle position to the right-hand side, fully right-hand side for the other remote. As you can see, almost getting intercepted there by the player 2. That is because of rubber banding. This one actually has rubber banding there. I'm going to pay attention to the bottom screen to see if it's going to intercept me. It did not. The moment I get to 170, I'm going to very quickly swap over. In fact, I might pause buffer just to be safe. That was really close, actually. Yeah, I almost got intercepted there. So there are perfect bonuses if you get a full set of scarecrows. Thankfully there, the other player did not interfere. So hopefully now we've managed to do that. We should be good. This is a really, really difficult game. I was practicing this at the start of the week, and I actually had less consistency than when I originally played it. So I decided to come up with a better strategy, and getting those few extra points at the beginning really helps. And that, I hope, even though we missed some points, is first try, which I'm really happy with because that was causing me some problems. Next is tanks. Let me grab my rubber bands because I need that for tanks. We will just start by hitting this first because this one we don't need to move. But I need to very quickly get the rubber bands on the controllers. And the reason for that, I will show you in just a moment. It allows me to have free movement here with the controllers. So a lot of the time when you play 2 controllers in a game, people use Velcro or something like that. Big example is Mario Galaxy. they actually use, or originally used Velcro to sort of stick the controllers together. But here I'm using rubber bands, and the reason for that is so I can freely move the pointers around and do a separate thing with each one. So this is actually very similar to, I believe, an incentive that I had in Prevent-A-Thon 2 with WePlay, where I played in co-op mode there as well. So you're getting a little taster here. But Tanks is a really, really popular game. We need 11 with each, so I do need to make sure I'm playing with both controllers, not just one. But here, if I get all 4, then that will get me up to 11, and then I can just play the rest on player 2. The scary thing here is the moment I die, if that happens, I unfortunately will have to start all over again, because unlike regular one-player tanks, there are no lives in this. So if that happens, I will need to start again. Good thing is it's pretty short here, so it won't be run ending for the estimate, but we hope that we can get through. So here we have rocket bullets from these teal tanks. I'm just gonna hopefully get through. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff going on here. So interesting thing about this mode, oh, that was close. Interesting thing here is that sometimes the tanks, they won't now because there's only one tank alive, but they actually have the chance to face one tank and actually be targeting the other tank. So what happens in that case is they just kind of stare at a tank and just do nothing. So in a way, this is tricky, but also the game can kind of throw you a bone sometimes and be really nice. So it's interesting. We have yellow tanks here that lay mines, but that should be the end of tanks, assuming I get through here. So hopefully we can get to 11. I'm just paying attention to the score as well. Being very careful with mines, because I can't actually see them being placed if they're behind walls. They can be a bit sneaky sometimes. There we go. And we are done with tanks. We'll move on to shooting range. So shooting range, I will take the elastic bands off now. We are actually going to start with the player 2 controller. First game where I'm just playing one controller at a time really easily. And we need 200 points with both players. So what I'm going to do, interesting thing about this is that it spawns in loads more balloons than normal. Normally I'd be trying to hit multiple balloons of the same color back to back for more points, but because they're so quick here, I'm actually not going to do that. So yeah, here you can hit the purple targets of the other player and score points rather than losing points. That's why I'm starting with player 2, because it works out that it's better to do that, because of the order that the purple targets spawn in. We got a massive combo there. No hits dropped, which is fantastic. Hit the wrong one there. That's unfortunate. And again. I'm too used to one-player strats where you just hit all the purple targets. So we are currently on 60. Not too bad. And hopefully, assuming we did well enough on level 2, we will be able to finish this on level 3. You get more points here if you hit these frisbees early. But the target section is very interesting. We actually found very recently, thanks to Atassa, shouts to Sheep, there is a time save, which I can only imagine works in 2-player mode as well, where some of the target cycles in... there we go. Oh, wow, perfect number. That's fantastic. Some of the target cycles in level 2 actually... we now know exactly how they work. So we used to think that it would be better just to leave them if you're not trying to score points. Here it doesn't really apply. But we actually now know that it's faster to hit the targets and just and finish up because of how the waves work. There's a bunch of diagrams about it. There's a lot going on in shooting range now, all for 2 seconds of time save, which is just classic for this game. But we are now moving on to Find Me. This is actually the first kind of breather we get in the run. This is a few minutes long, this game. And all it is, we need to finish 20 levels here. The main difference is that the levels are randomized. Normally, you always have the same, you know, objective on every level based on the number. But here, what we need to do is we need to kind of adapt to what comes up. So the other main thing is that we're not punished for getting answers wrong. The timer doesn't tick down at all. you start on 120 seconds and you don't gain any extra time. So we are incentivized to just kind of click random answers. What you might notice as well on some of these levels is something called hitbox strat, which means the correct answers have a bigger hitbox than the incorrect ones. So on these stairs levels, I can literally just go like this and find the answer really easily. But other than that, that is pretty much it for Find Me. So if there are any messages or anything, then now is a good time.
Oh, good. Because I need to just remind everybody that Stardew is coming up in about an hour, and we have got an incentive open that closes right at the beginning of the run, chat. So we actually really do just only have an hour, I'm being honest with you. And what's going to happen is we're going to use a cursed seed. And apparently there's just going to be meteors dropping everywhere. So if you've ever wanted to drop a meteor onto the Stardew farm because you keep running out of time and you fall asleep at 2 a.m., that's definitely not what happens to me all the time, then get those donations in. And please tell me your animal names, because I want to know which name your animals in all these video games.
All right. Yeah, funny thing there. We can't see the answer, so I'm just gonna keep pressing buttons until I until I get the answer at the top of the screen, because you can see like the me spawn in, and that is the point where you can hit them. But yeah, you can't actually see whether that's the right answer or not. So you're kind of just guessing. Another thing here is you might notice I've got a lot of silly me's on my system. They are there for Find Me. There are a few new ones since Prevent-A-Thon 2. But yeah, they're always on my system. They're always there, and they're just there for Find Me. And even when I run other games, when I run We Play Motion or any completely unrelated game, they're all there in the audience, which I find quite funny. But this is the final level. Nice find there as well, fantastic. And we are done. We're moving on to fishing. This is actually kind of a tricky one. So here, wow, what a pond. We get 8 fish at the beginning. That is the most you can get. So for some reason, I have no idea why, but in this mode, what they allow is any number of fish between 2 and 8 can spawn in. Here we got 8, which is good. The only bad thing about that is that we also are very likely to have small fry in the pond at pretty much all times, which make you lose points, which is obviously not very good. So we're going to be going for these bonus fish. They score us double, and do remember, because we can quit the moment we get the score requirement, otherwise this would, because the reason we do that is because Find Me would be a full auto-scroller. You just wait for the timer to drain out, so yeah. To mitigate that, we are just actually allowed to quit this early. So, touchy fish bonus, fantastic. That is the highest value. So we can actually finish this player 2 with just 1 fish now. Gonna just get the rod out of the pond just to avoid the plain old fish catching on. Not quite working out, that's fine. Yeah, so this game can give you anything between 2 and 8 fish. And that is the number of fish that will stay in the pond for the whole game, which is strange. I don't know why they did that. In player 1 mode, there are always 5 fish, except for if there is a mystery fish, which spawns randomly, or the king of the pond, which spawns near the end of the game. So I'm pretty behind here, but the king of the pond will let us just get to our 1,000 points. So I will just make sure that I'm not close to the other line, because another oddity of this mode is what just happened. If I'm too close to the other line, even though I wasn't, you know, catching that fish, it just makes the other line teleport over to the other one. There are so many oddities in 2-player mode. It's kind of funny. Also, shout out to the fact you can just hit the other bubble to start off Pose Me. This is Pose Me. We need 150 points with each player. Same as normal, there's a 30-second timer for every level. That was a great chain. So this is pretty luck-based about how I do here, but the main change is that if you hit the other color bubble, so a blue bubble with the red player, you will get double points. So because of this, we can actually score way more points than normal, and we can hopefully finish in 2 levels. I basically never get it, but this is looking like good pace. 89 with 1 player is really good. I'm going to swap them over, just because I normally play better with the right-hand controller, just from dominant handness. But hopefully, we do well here. The rainbow bubbles actually freeze the other player, so you do have to be alert for that happening. So hopefully we can get through here. And the bubbles do start to change orientation as well, which makes this tricky when you're dealing with both at the same time. Yeah, we're not quite going to get this here, I believe, because we do need 140 with each. I'm just going to play with this one now, because we're done with player 1. Yeah, not quite. That's fine. That's only a minor time loss. That does not happen very much for me, that time save. Now, we only have 2 games left of the run, and then we're finished. So laser hockey is really simple, which gives me a lot of time to explain table tennis. We need 3 points with each here, which is really silly, because we can just own goal. But table tennis, we need 40 rallies with both controllers. There was a poll in the Wii Series Discord about whether to include table tennis or not. Because, as you will see in a moment, before I fail, it is really silly. The game does not track your rallies in 2-player mode. It is like a regular first to 11 kind of game of table tennis. So instead, what I have to do is I have to count manually. If you thought billiards was bad, yeah, this is even worse. So I'm going to count to 40. 40 with both controllers, excluding serves. So I'm going to go from here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Timing will end, by the way, on 40. So that will be time. Normally I get this in about 2 cycles. I think this is 20 now. Okay, I'm going to play it safe and say that's 19. We'll get a few extra just to be safe. 20. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36. Get ready on time. 39, and that's time. All right.
GG.
That went pretty well. The extra minutes in the estimate are mainly because of charge. So I was really happy I got that first try. Basically, in any category in this game, the estimate is there because of billiards. For example, in Pat 2, I had an hour and a half estimate, and my PB is now 58.30. In platinum medals. So it's all tied up in billiards. It's all there because of billiards. But in this game, billiards can be tricky. Like, you can get bad starts. If you do really well at the beginning and get too many points with one player, that then means you can't get 15 with the other controller. So it can kind of mess you up. But yeah, charge is really, really difficult. When this category was put forward, yeah, everyone just kind of thought this might just be impossible. And then the charge IL grinders came in and just proved us wrong really quickly. So I'm not personally a charge IL grinder, so I did have to really find some really niche strats for charge. Like, I'll rest the controller down just barely, not in the center, and then move it up, just to make it slightly safer. There's so much going on in this category. My PB at the moment, which is a 14-14, actually has hand cam, just to see the absolute just absurdity of this category, because there's so much going on, and there's so much more to explain that I didn't hear. But that is it. So I hope you've enjoyed. It's a really short showcase of this game, but it is the only 2-player category we have where it mainly features, because everything else is mainly just 1 player. I'm mainly a medals runner. I'm actually playing regular medals at the moment for sub 18, which is really, really tricky. There's a strat there called FPD, where you have to take a hit on the same frame as the last enemy tank. I don't even know if I was going for it when I did my run of in Pat 2. Now you need to do it not just on stationary tanks, but on a moving tank. So yeah, it's a very, very tricky grind. Hopefully sub 18 soon. But yeah, that is it.
If folks wanted to watch you, Midi, where can we find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitch. I do my runs on twitch.tv/smidi. This is kind of my main game at the moment. I'd have thought by now, since it's been almost 4 years of me playing this game or speedrunning this game, that I would be done, but I am not done. I kind of pushing for one last big goal, and that is sub 18. I have an 18:02 at the moment. I pushed it really far mainly because of an LTA that we had in the community. I managed to beat world record by 1 second, and that was enough to kind of spur me on. Actually, a couple of months ago, before that LTA, it was an 18:11. So it's a very tricky one to grind.
Getting
for.
there.
Yeah.
It's coming.
There's not a lot of time save. I mean, theoretically, a 17-2x is possible, but you would need, there's all sorts going on in billiards, lots of RNG stuff that I didn't get around to today. Go and watch Cinderfusic's billiards video talking about the potential 9 break. It's a great watch. And I'm sure there are people here that have been recommended it, even if you don't watch this game, because it really, really popped off about a year ago now. So, yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of the marathon.
Thank you so much, Midi. You guys heard it here. If you want to see Midi chase sub 18, you can find him at his Twitch at twitch.tv/smmidi. All right.